Hello, everyone, and welcome to our event today for the Myeloma Financial Coach Chapter. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Audrey Burton-Bethke, and I am the Myeloma Community Director. We are going to be sharing some slides with you today, just by way of announcements. So let's get those pulled up. As I said, thank you for attending today. Thank you for taking this time to be with us. We are really excited to share this virtual time with each of you. Today, we will be discussing a very special presentation called Benefits for Veterans, a Briefing, and we will hear from Diana Valentine and Roy Berwick. We are excited to hear from them, and I will introduce them formally in just a moment. I wanted to take a moment to thank you for your service. Whether you are a veteran or family to a veteran, your sacrifice is greatly appreciated. I come from a family of veterans and people in the military, and I know how much of a sacrifice it is to be away from family, and I also admire the sacrifices of those who are serving. On behalf of the myeloma crowd, we thank you for your service and for being here today. This meeting will be recorded, and the recording will be sent out 24 to 48 hours after this event has concluded, along with the slides that are shared today. A special thank you to our sponsors. AbbVie, Bristol Myers Squibb, Amgen Oncology, Genentech, Karyopharm Therapeutics, Oncopeptides, Adaptive Biotechnologies, and Takeda Oncology. It is now my pleasure to introduce you to our featured speakers, Diana Valentine and Roy Berwick. Diana is a myeloma coach specializing in financial help for multiple myeloma patients. As a professional financial consultant and former caregiver of her husband who was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, Diana perfectly understands the financial issues facing myeloma patients. Roy Berwick is a retired soldier. While on active duty, he served in the Military Peace Corps in every leadership position, from squad leader to battalion executive officer, and at every staff level from battalion to Department of the Army. In addition, he served in the Judge Advocate General's Corps as a lawyer. Upon retirement from the U.S. Army in 1993, he entered private education and served as president, vice president, or dean at a number of schools. Upon retirement from private education in 2017, he re-entered the profession of law and has worked with the Legal Aid Society, providing services to veterans and indignant parties. I don't know how to pronounce that. He is a graduate of Creighton University School of Law and admitted to practice in Nebraska, Kentucky, United States District Court for the Western District of Kentucky, and all military courts. Diana will start by sharing with us why she felt the need and the desire to host a special presentation for veterans, and then Roy will give his briefing on the benefits for veterans. So Diana and Roy, the time is now yours. It looks like Diana and Roy will need to turn on their cameras and their microphones. So if you two can do that, I can. There we go. Hi, Diana.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I am the financial coach with the Myeloma Crowd. And the reason I got into this is because she mentioned before in my introduction is my husband was diagnosed with myeloma, and we realize a lot of the issues that people deal with, especially when you have a long-term cancer diagnosis. And in working with people all across the country, I have found that a lot of veterans are not aware of all of the financial resources that are available to them. And it astounds me because I have found where their spouses may be continuing to work well after Medicare age in order to stay on a good insurance for their spouses. And so I thought it was very pertinent that we get the information out, what resources are available to them through the veteran services. And Roy is a great person to answer these questions. So I'm going to turn this over to Roy. Thank you, Roy, for joining us.
Thank you both for that great introduction, and I do appreciate that. As a retired soldier, what I wanted to do is to give back a little bit, and that's why I got into Veterans Affairs. But as I was telling Diana when I got on, veterans have sort of taken a back seat. We're fighting this COVID-19. We have so many other needs at the moment with people losing their housing and foreclosures and things like that. That's what I find myself mostly doing. But so I welcome this opportunity to be able to speak to you today just a little bit about veterans. And I'm going to paint this with a very broad brush. And as we go through, some of you are going to know this far better than me. Some of you really will. But this is being painted with a broad brush to provide you with some tools that you can use when you're dealing with the VA. And first off, before I even start, I want to say, hey, with the VA, there's a lot of good people there, but you got to be patient. It's huge. You know, there's 20 million of us. We're a huge part of the budget, but it's just immense. So when you start dealing with anything with the VA, especially a claim or a medical issue or some service that you're trying to receive, be patient. I think that's the absolute key. So if you will, please, you'll give me my first slide, and that steps us right into it. The first step, hey, always go to that home page. That will lead you to about anything you want to do with the VA, and it answers a lot of questions, opens a lot of doors. So I always say, start your search with the home page, especially if it's the first time you've come in contact with the VA and you're doing it remotely, like a lot of us have to do right now because of the pandemic. You can't go wrong. You can't make a mistake. If you do, it'll reset itself, come back and do it again. That's how I learn. And I'm an attorney. And first thing I do, I shouldn't tell you this, is either one, Google something or go to the VA homepage. That's where I start my research. It seems to pay off. I save a lot of backtracking doing that. The next page, please. This is important. The Crisis Hotline. You know, we have it. There's a lot of things going on in our lives right now. And if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling pushed upon, especially if you're dealing with suicide ideation or things like that, or feelings of worthlessness, please call the Crisis Hotline. It's open 24/7. There's a call number for you. You can text. For those that are hearing impaired, that there's a number provided at the bottom. But this can be a lifesaver, and it has been. And you know what? We all get a little despondent. I lost my security card this morning to get in the building. I got despondent real fast. But one of my coworkers came to my rescue, and here I am to bore you for the next 40 minutes. So please, we'll take a look at the next one. Hey guys, whenever you're going to do anything with the VA, records are important. All of them. If you're already participating in the VA as a patient or a recipient or something like that, great. Keep on top of your records. Go to your private records. Print them out occasionally and keep them, because sometimes things mysteriously disappear. I don't think it's intentional, but it happens. So print them out occasionally or download them or what have you, because they do tend to get away from you. If you've never dealt with the VA before and you're starting to file a claim or you're looking for help, you got to get that DD Form 214. If you were like me, you must have made 1 million copies of it. You got it all over the place, easy to find. But with a lot of moves in a military life or even afterwards, you can misplace that document. You may have lost it. You may have had a fire or anything. You can get it replaced. You can go right online, Google it, DD Form 214, and you can get it that way. You can request an SF-180 and get your DD Form 214 from out at St. Louis or one of the other sites, depending on what year you took your discharge or your retirement. Military records are essential. If you're going for a military type of disability that occurred when you were in the military or even predates the military, you've got to start with your military records. Get them. And if you've got them, don't give them up. Make a copy of them. And of course, as I've already made mention of your VA medical records, you have access to those. You'll be given a code, and every once in a while, download them in some shape, form, or fashion, either to your computer or print them or whatever. If you need some help in this area, I place some phone numbers down at the bottom. Call. The VA's got some great people. They will take their time out of their lives and help you find what you need to find. Of course, there's always that occasional person who's having a bad day. they're not quite as friendly or as nice as you think they should be, or they're a little bit rushed, hey, hang up, call again, get another person, move out smartly. They're there to help, and they certainly will. I promise you that. Everybody, all of us have a bad day. All of us have a bad day. Again, records continued. The next one, slide, please, is like if you need your benefits letter, you've lost it, you need it for some purpose, what's presented there for you, that www.va.gov records download VA letters, is where you can go in and get that awards letter, where you've been given a percentage or what have you. You can go right there and search for it, either by, I think it's either by name or by Social Security or even by VA number, but they can be found. It's an important letter. You should safeguard it, but if you've lost it, misplaced it, you can't find it, that is a good place to start. It's better than trying to call somebody and them having to fool with it. It's a good place to start, and it's you working it, so you know what you want. The home loan application. When I'm a retired soldier, and of course when I came back from Vietnam, I went right to college. It paid for my undergraduate school. I went back in, it came back out, and golly, I had enough left that it helped me through law school as well too. So I'm always a big proponent of the old GI Bill or even the new one. But the one that I have used the most is that VA home loan. I've moved 1 million times. I've bought a home almost every time, and it's always been a VA loan. It's a lifesaver. It saves a lot of money. So when you sell your home, make sure you get that VA loan back in your name, and don't let it pass to the person who's purchasing your home. Okay, a lot of good detail at Access VA Home Loan app, and that and that address is given there for you too, that you can find it online. My phone's ringing off the hook. Please ignore it. VA pension benefits. This is what sometimes people call the non-service connected disability. All of us that served in time of war, whether you served wherever you served, if you served during 1 day of time of war, you're entitled to this VA pension. But it's based primarily on your financial stability. The requirements are basically wartime service. Combat or theater is not required, just 1 day of military service. It's date sensitive to the war period. You have to look that date up online, and it tells you if you are eligible or not. The dates really are far go beyond the dates we were actually participating in the war. In fact, those that have been with the war against terrorism, the Gulf Wars, those dates aren't even closed yet. They're still open. We've been at that for 17 years. They haven't closed. And you must be disabled, but of course, if you're age 65 or older, the VA considers you disabled, so you meet all the requirements. But if you're like me and you actually have a little bit of a pension, you're probably not going to be able to get this. This is the thing that's for those guys that have really struggled all their lives, not been able to put much together, and this is what keeps the wolf from the door. But for a lot of us, you won't put in for it. But for those that need it, it's a lifesaver. So I encourage you, if you think you're entitled to this, well, you're more than likely entitled to the pension. If you think you're more than meet the criteria for it, please check it out. And if you need some help with that, I'm going to mention a couple of places a little later that can help you put this together. But it's pretty straightforward. And if you meet the criteria, submit your DD Form 214 and the appropriate VA forms. It's pretty much automatic. It's a pretty good deal for those that need it. Next slide, please. VA disability compensation. I know a great number of you all may be receiving this. I receive a small one for my Vietnam service. And it's for those of us that were injured on active duty or had a pre-existing injury that was made worse by our military service. And that's possible. That's why it's so important to get a hold of those military medical records that demonstrate that you did go to the TMC, that you did fall off the back of that deuce and a half, that you did break your leg on a jump, so we can start establishing the fact that you're entitled to that VA disability and that compensation. Hey, look, it's tax-free. You must apply. and help is always available. And I'm going to go through the help near the end of it. But the VA is pretty good about giving you a hand. And if they turn you down, as you know, they will send you a wealth of paperwork telling you how to reapply, what you didn't do right the first time, and what you need to do to prove this up. I always say, get help. You can do it yourself. A lot of people do, but there's a percentage. Those that apply for a VA disability on their own are about 7% effective first time around. If it's an attorney helping you or one of the representatives from the American Legion or Disabled American Veterans or the American Legion, that jumps up to almost 35 or 40%. So it makes a difference. If you do it a lot, you get good at it. So get somebody who's good at it to give you a hand, and they know all the nuances, and you won't have to go through that heartbreak of having to reapply and reapply and reapply. So that's the only little tip I have you there, give you there. The hotline for VA disability compensation is, of course, on the bottom of your screen. I encourage you to call that. If you've got questions, you could call me, but you'll certainly get a much better reception from them and a much smarter one. Let's go to the next one. We talk about VA Disability Continued. These are some of the sites that you can go to, and I encourage you to do it. If you're thinking about, am I eligible? Well, I don't know, but you can go to www.va.gov disability eligibility, take a look at it, and you can pretty much narrow it down if you're eligible for some compensation or not, or at least if you're in the window. It shows you also the next one, how to file your claim, how to get through that for you, and it's a pretty step-by-step process. It's not bad. It really isn't. Again, and this is after you file, let you know the status of your claim. Again, though, I do encourage you to get some help with it. The guys who do it a lot, especially the guys in the American Legion and the Veterans of Foreign War, some of these guys, they don't have law degrees or anything, but man, they know the system backwards and forwards, and they can write that gobbledygook so quick and so fast. Check them out. They are very, very good. And I just paused to tell you here, any lawyer you get that's supposed to help you with this, they can't charge for it. They can't. Now, if they assist you and the claim goes into an appeal type process, that is when the attorney can ask for 20 or 25% of your initial award. And in many cases, if you've got a tough disability, that's smart money. Do it, because you've waited for years. That's where the money's going to come from anyway. It's not going to come out of your pocket. Do it. But initially, if a lawyer assists you in preparation of any of this, it's free. If one attempts you to charge you, walk out the door, go down the street, find the other guy who'll do it like he's supposed to according to law. Lawyers can only take the money on appeal. Now, if you're going for a discharge upgrade or something like that, that's a different deal. But we're talking VA disability compensation. That's the first steps are absolutely free. Maybe the initial consultation will cost you a little bit, but once you start the process, that lawyer, he or she is free. But once you get to the appeals, they are entitled to 20 or 25%, and you must agree to it. You must sign something, and they have to apply for it and ask for it themselves. I just throw that out because a lot of times the veterans don't realize that the lawyer can be free, or that they can be charged. So I bring it up. The VA benefits for your family, these are pretty important to a lot of people, more so even than the benefits to themselves. So I've listed them here for you. If you're looking for some health care for your family, it depends on age and what it is. If you have dependent children, dependent spouse, they can receive benefits. They can be, especially if you have a dependent child who's become an adult and who is not going to be able to, let's say, survive on their own without help or assistance. You need to get this on the record early on, and so that those benefits can continue after you pass. So start that now. I encourage you. Education training, that's just for someone who's a caregiver or a dependent who's trying to put some of this stuff together and work with you. It shows where they can go, what they may be entitled to, and how they can best help you secure the benefits that's important for you. Again, there's a helpline that comes with all of this, and it's listed for you on the bottom of the page. So please reach out, ask for help. No one expects you to know this stuff backwards and forwards. And I'm painting this with such a broad brush that you have going to have a million questions. There's a lot of nuances. Each of us are different. And so I'm starting you on the way. I'm just not telling you how to do it step by step by step, as if you walked in this office and we started filling out that VA 21-22A or whatever, whichever form we're fooling with. But again, this is a start point. And these can help a great deal, especially if you're one of those self-motivated types that likes to do the things himself or herself anyway. This is where to start. The next slide is some sources for help, for notice and help. The Disabled American Veterans, great bunch. Go to them. The representatives they would provide you many times are not lawyers, but they're accredited with the VA, and whoever helps you has to be accredited with the VA. You can't just get somebody off the street to give you a hand, because the VA wants to see their accreditation. And if you want to check it out, you can go to that. That's right. The VA homepage, look up accreditation, and there's Roy W. Berwick in Kentucky. He better be. I certainly religiously supply them with my bar information every year and whenever I get my CLE credits and helping veterans. Veterans of Foreign Wars, great organization. Representatives are very knowledgeable. Same with the American Legion. If you don't know where to start, or you're intimidated by masses of paperwork or a bureaucracy like the VA, these guys are legends. They can stand up and really help you, and they will. They'll sit in there at the table in the VA with you and go through it step by step by step, probably with a laptop computer, or have the forms in a briefcase right there at their feet and help you. In Kentucky, we've got a great Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs. You can go to them, and they will reach out and help you too. Of course, there's a legal aid society, guys like me. We're all over the state of Kentucky, and every one of our offices does have a VA attorney, a vet attorney, who will help you not only with dealing with the VA, but we'll get your name changed for you. We can help you with some child support and family issues and expungements and any number of things that any other attorney can handle on the outside for you, providing you meet our criteria with money-wise or age. So don't, just because you've been very resourceful and have gobs of money, don't think that the legal aid can't help you. It certainly can if you're 65 or older. So give us a call. And the Kentucky Bar Association takes a huge interest in veterans. In fact, just about every year, there's a presentation made by one of us in the military committee on VA issues and veteran issues and what have you. Sources of help in dealing with the VA. Oh, they're still up there. I'm sorry. Let's go on to the VA Mission Act of 2018. This is, again, because I'm broad brushing it. This act was enacted in 2018, and many of the changes that you're seeing, like building, construction, the way that things are being done or changed in the VA, or you're getting a better quality of doctor or nurse or professional, it's from this act. It's not from your latest president or the current president. It's because this act has been in place, and it's been a step by step by step building block to build the VA into a modern organization to best serve veterans through the coming years. And it's a huge piece of paperwork. I just listed what I think is the most important there, because I think improvement in professional training and healthcare in underserved areas, and they're out there. You know, if you live in a metropolis or you live close to one, you're going to see a lot of VA facilities. You live out in the boondocks, it's a whole different world. It really is. But this has been put in place to start addressing that, so that there can be some VA facilities and some satellite sites where they can serve veterans in those areas. Some more VA tools, and you've probably already, that's the next slide. is all kinds of things are open to help you with tax preparation, financial training, homelessness, foreclosure assistance for VA loans, COVID-19 vaccines and testing, all of that. Again, you can see it down at the bottom of the page. You can go to that WWVA homepage. It's all there. It's listed out. You tap it, you hit it, you can go there, and there'll be some help for you in some shape, form, or fashion. Again, if you're not satisfied with that, there's legal aids, there's American Legion, for veterans of foreign wars. There's a whole smorgasbord of people out there willing to give you a hand and a lot of times do the work for you, or at least assist you greatly in securing the benefits that you're certainly entitled to and have long earned. And I certainly mean that. Just on a quick note about on the foreclosures, which is back on the back slide, but that's okay, is that the VA has extended their foreclosures moratorium until 30 June. And that's a big deal. In fact, it's the one that's the longest serving right now. And this is not only for assistance for the VA loan, it's assistance in housing. It's also assistance in if for debt that you may owe the VA for overpayment or something like that. There's a moratorium on that right now. And if you're not aware of it and someone's trying to reach in your pocket from the VA, you need to bring that up and bring it to their attention that there is, in fact, that's just a recent publication of the new secretary that they're doing everything they can do to help veterans through this pandemic. And they're trying to do it financially and by making things a lot easier and smoother for you, especially when it comes to money matters, which matters so much right now, especially when you're getting in that age group when you're not earning money. You're either surviving on your VA benefit and your retirements or your Social Security or things like that. Don't be embarrassed. Reach out and ask for that help. Okay. There's some more. Yep. Here's the social resources. Do you know the VA has a social resource, and most of the major VA facilities have a social resource director or officer, and this person can help you with a lot of things you don't even dream of, like I'm too old to move my house. Can I get anybody to help me to move? Yeah, call the social resource director and they'll help you with it. I don't know if they'll show up and do it for you, but they'll have resources that could possibly help you with that. Veterans retirement homes. We've just built a new one here in Kentucky in Radcliffe. It's beautiful, and they're over there for you. They're for you. Maybe someday I'll need to check into one myself, but they're all over the place. They're there for you. Check it out. KDVA homes are our Kentucky Department of Veterans for Heroes. Is where they build homes for our veterans who need special type facilities and what have you. The email for them, of course, is listed there for you, and their phone number. Life insurance. Those of you that kept your government life insurance, that's really through the VA. It's just announced by the Secretary of the VA that there'll be a 7% reduction in the premiums. And for an old guy like me, I'm happy to get that 7%. You need to too. You've earned it. Okay. Again, some more VA tools continued. Disability housing grants for veterans. There's the address to go to on the websites. Rehabilitation and vocational training. And this is the rehabilitation vocational training is a pretty big deal. That's in addition to any GI Bill monies that you may have already expended and used. But if you're going through rehabilitation or some vocational retraining, check this out. This can be a pretty big chunk of money, to be quite honest with you, to survive on and live on at the same time too. So don't blow that off. Check that out and go to that website and use it. And of course, the last little slide here is just any questions you may have. This is my information. Reach out. Even though I'm as busy as a one-arm paper hanger at the moment. Hey, if you send me an email, I'll respond. I promise. That phone number now, I may get back. It may take me a day or two, but I'll get back to you. And of course, I do encourage you. If you're close to a legal aid society, reach out to them. There is a veterans attorney in every one of those offices, or someone who's been tasked to help veterans as much as they can. Again, I encourage you to go to the American Legion, the Veterans of Foreign War, Disabled American Veterans. Those are all great organizations. They have what they call representatives there who are fully accredited, just like an attorney, who can help you secure your benefits and make sure it's being done right the first time. Like I said, if you go to a representative or an attorney, your chances are securing the benefit that you're seeking goes from about a 7% to about a 40% right then and there. Not because we're so smart, it's just because we've done it so much. You know, you can just do some of those paperwork in your sleep. So reach out. Don't be too proud. You've earned it. You need to reach out and secure it for yourself. Now, listen, that's pretty much it for what I had set up here. This is just a summary. Again, there are many resources available to you. Start at the home page, go there, use it. It really is a good tool. And like I told you, I'm an attorney. Whenever I start to do anything, I Google it first, or if it's a veterans issue, I go to the VA homepage, because you know what? It's a good guide. It saves all kinds of time. Again, hey, if you're struggling, if you're depressed, you're despondent, there's a family issue, go to that crisis hotline. They're wonderful people. They can make a huge difference and reach out and touch you right then and there. And sometimes that's all you need is someone to listen to you. And I sincerely mean that. So call. And many times they can go beyond just listening. They can actually help. Again, if you need help, reach out and get it. Okay? Do that. Do not be too proud. Look, I know you veterans. I mean, I'm one of you guys. And you know, you think you're self-reliant, and you think you're still 18 or 19 or 20 years old. You're not. Look, I look like Martin Van Buren, but I didn't look like Martin Van Buren at 21 or 22. But things have changed. I'm a stiff, older guy, and if my grown daughter comes over and wants to lift that box for me, I get to it, Meredith. Thank you very much. Keep moving, and be the same way here. Take advantage of what you've earned. We all need to thank you, and part of that thank you is letting us help. So don't think that this is some kind of handout. It's what you've earned. And many people, instead of want to say thank you for your service, which I say that too, they'd rather say, let me show you, I want to thank you for your service. Let me pick up that box. Let me fill out that form. Let me come over to your house and cut your grass. And by the way, if anybody wants to go over and cut my grass, you're welcome to do it. I hate doing that. But again, Roy Berwick, I'm here at Legal Aid. You've got my information. And if I can help or provide any kind of service, I will absolutely do my best. But remember, I'm in Kentucky, guys. I'm licensed in Kentucky. Sometimes they let me still practice in Nebraska if I'm sober. But go to the Legal Aid or the VA or the American Legion or the Veterans of Foreign War in the state and locale that you're in. I think that's important. It really is. But again, if you want to reach out to me because you trust the Martin Van Buren look, I'll do my best to respond. Okay. Questions now. I don't guarantee any smart answers here. Okay.
Roy, you're so funny. I was cracking up your entire presentation. That was amazing. That was wonderful. And I personally learned so much, and just the clear way that you explained it, I think was great. So thank you. Thank you for spending that time and for making me laugh. And I agree with what you said, that I think oftentimes, just with my experience with my family, it can be seen as, oh, I don't want that handout. And instead, the mental shift needs to be, you earned this through your sacrifice. So I really appreciate that. Thank you. We now have time for question and answers. And if you are unfamiliar with the Zoom platform, there should be a question and answer little box at the bottom of the screen. If you click on that, you can type in your question, send us your question. We'd love to have questions. They can be for Roy about veterans. They can be for Diana about financial resources with myeloma. This is a time where you are welcome to ask any of your questions that you have. Meanwhile, as we wait for questions to come in, Roy, I would like to know just a little bit more about, did you always know that I'm just not familiar with Vietnam. Were you drafted or was that?
No, I was probably a draft evader. I joined the Air Force, and my training instructor, they're not called drill instructors in the Air Force, they're called training instructors. He guaranteed me, you draft dodger Roy, that you were going to Vietnam, and he was absolutely el correcto. I served in a unit called the 554th Red Horse Engineers out of Cam Bay. And I was one of their supply troops, but I was in the rear with the beer, the gear, and the sergeant major, but they still wanted a rocket and mortars, and we still served on the Green Line and ran convoy like a lot of the guys out there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And my second tour, I was in air intelligence, which is sort of a misnomer, but anyway, I did it for my second tour in Vietnam.
Okay, awesome. Let me, hold on. I feel like it always does this, that it doesn't let me see the questions unless I exit out of everything. It's so frustrating. All right. So this is a question that I'm not sure that you'll know the answer to, but we're going to ask you anyway.
Okay.
How are benefits affected if I live in Canada? So I'm assuming.
If you're go ahead. You may have the answer too.
No. I was just trying to clarify the question.
If you're a veteran, you're entitled to the benefit of it. Now, how you go about filing for it there is you're gonna have to file some place in the States, but that's the beauty of having that VA computerized system now. You can file anywhere, and you get the step-by-step approach. Yes, sir. If you're a veteran living in Canada or Timbuktu, do it. That's why that homepage exists. It says, when the veteran dies, does the spouse continue with benefits? Not necessarily. That depends on the amount of benefits and the percentage of benefits.
Okay.
So that's got to be close. That's a very good question, and it's not automatic, and it's based on the percentage of disability of the veteran at the time of his or her demise. And it's usually 100%.
Okay.
Usually, I say there are some exceptions to that.
Great. If we have any more questions, we can keep them coming in.
Yeah, because I get paid by the words spoken, you all. So keep them coming in.
That's funny. All right. Can you see these question and answers? Do you want to read them? Do you want me to read them?
I saw the last one. I haven't seen this one though, but I can.
No, it's okay. So we have, he says, Roy, former Marine, served in 81 to 85 during the Reagan years, no wartime. Other than the VA loan, do I have many benefits, especially now that I have smoldering myeloma?
You may, and that's why you've got to check that out. You may be entitled to a great number of benefits. You certainly, if you at that time you had to pay into the GI Bill or whatever they were calling it, the Montgomery GI Bill at the time, but you certainly are entitled to that. And now your dependents, if you didn't use it, may be entitled to those education benefits as well. But you're entitled to those vocational, that rehabilitation, and you certainly are probably entitled to some health benefits through the VA. Maybe not a monetary benefit, maybe not, maybe so, but you're certainly entitled to some health benefits for medications and health services and things like that.
Yeah. Okay, we have another question about if the wife is the caregiver, can she get financial aid?
Yes, she can. And in fact, I'm fooling with one right now. What little bit of hair I have, I'm pulling it out on it because it's pretty in depth. They want several forms filled out. They want a lot of financial detail provided. and they usually want some sort of doctor's statement on a special form, which now I can't pull it up. It's like, I think it's VA form 2860 or something like that. The doctor has to sign it and put down what services your spouse is providing. But yes, they can be compensated for that. Absolutely. And go
Wonderful.
back to those slides that I was on, and there's a I call it an email address, but it's an address to the website where you can ask those particular questions and get some help on it.
Great. Great. So while we're waiting for more questions to come in, tell us a little bit more about this work that you're doing right now.
Well, you know, I was hired to be a veterans attorney here at Legal Aid, and at one time we had a pretty good sized office. We had 3 attorneys and a paralegal. Now it's down to 2 attorneys and a paralegal. But we provided a full range of legal services to deserving veterans that met the criteria to be served by legal aid, and we would do everything but criminal cases, just about. And of course, legal aid is prohibited from filing lawsuits because we can't compete with local attorneys. But anything else, like if you're suffering an eviction, if you're having a foreclosure, if you want to change your name because you don't want your ex-wife to find you or your ex-spouse to find you, yeah, well, we can help you with those things. And we use a lot of outside resources too, like if you need preparation, if you need help in preparation of your federal taxes, we can steer you to that. We sometimes run those things ourselves. If you're looking to file a small claim, we can help you with that. We can actually show you how to do it, and you can take it over and file it yourself. Sometimes we do those ourselves. There's a whole smorgasbord of services that Legal Aid Society can provide to veterans, and they're glad to do it. And you usually get the benefit of a veteran attorney who that's all they deal with. Right now, though, because of the pandemic, my veteran work has been sort of curtailed, and I'm mostly working with evictions, working to not have an evictions. I just saw a question, but I didn't catch it.
No, it's okay. So we had a follow-up question to that. So are there legal aid in each state then, and they need to contact their legal aid in the state?
There is usually a legal aid, sometimes a number of legal aid offices in a state. Actually, in Kentucky, we're divided up into 4 different regions, and like we're legal aid. We used to be called the Legal Aid Society of Louisville. Now we're just the Legal Aid Society. But if you're in Appalachia, it's called AppleRed. And like that, it's based on the geography of the state, and I'm sure each state works the same way. But there's a legal aid society office in every state. They're all over the place, and those that legal advice is free. There is no charge for it in any shape, form, or fashion. Sometimes we ask you to pay the fee if we can't cover it. But generally we take care of all the legal fees and filings and what have you.
Wow, that's great. Thank you. All right, several more questions coming in. So if my cancer doctor is approved for community care, can I get other doctors I see approved so that I can get their prescriptions filled out through VA?
That's a good question. That's a good question. And you know what? I don't have the answer. But again, those numbers and the addresses that I give, you can contact them and ask that question. My gut reaction is yes, you can, in some shape, form, or fashion. Yes, you can. But the smart money would be on make that phone call and ask that question, or make that email request, or contact that American Legion or that Veterans of Foreign War or Disabled American Veterans rep, and they're probably much smarter on that stuff than I am.
Well, I don't know. I thought you gave a great presentation today.
I don't know.
So, but
You're kind.
Great advice.
You're kind.
So how can we get legal documents like POAs, wills, trust?
Hey, legal aid would love to write your will for you or do a power of attorney for you. That's I'd forgotten that. Yeah, I do a lot of those. So absolutely. Come on in and we'll take care of that for you. And it's
Okay.
easy, it's simple, it's confidential. We work for you just like another attorney would work for you.
Yeah. Diana actually talked about that in our last meeting. I think it was our last meeting. In one of our meetings that we've had, we talked about power of attorney, wills, trusts, things like that. And so
Important stuff.
it's a good connection that we can contact this legal aid.
And remember about your power of attorney, people think, oh, I've got a power of attorney. Something happens to me, my wife could. No, that power of attorney dies with you. It is only good while you live. So you're going to have to make some other provision upon your demise, which is a will or a trust, because that power of attorney does not survive your death. And of course, you can stop that power of attorney at any time, either by publication or by revoking it and tearing it up.
All right, awesome. Another question, can you use the hospitals and doctors outside of the VA?
Depends. It depends about your VA, where it's located and what services are available. Like here in Louisville, we have the big huge VA center on Zorn, but they satellite all the time to the University of Louisville Hospital here, and veterans are being treated there on a daily basis, especially if it's something the VA is not comfortable with doing or something they're not really a specialist in.
No,
So
good.
yeah, absolutely.
Great question. All right, we have another question. What benefits would he be entitled to in Canada? And I'm just really not sure that we know those answers.
Yeah, if you served in the American Armed Forces and you're a veteran, you're entitled to VA, and what those benefits would be what's personal to you. Like if you were injured on active duty, you fell off that deuce and a half, or you were injured in a jump, or you were run over by a military vehicle during maneuvers or training and have an injury that you can establish back during that. Well, that's service connected. And so you can go back and establish it from there. It just depends on your own particular situation and what's occurred. Now for that pension, if you meet the qualifications for that, it does not matter where you are. You can still put in for that pension and draw that pension, as long as you meet what I call the 4 criteria that we talked about. And key among those is be disabled or age 65, serve during time of war, and meet the date requirements. Like for Vietnam, one of the dates I think is like 1964. It runs to like 1973. I believe that's. I'm broad brushing it again, but I believe that's pretty close to it. And so you got to meet those dates. And of course, you can't be a millionaire and draw the pension. I'm sorry for you millionaires out there. Don't apply. You don't need it.
All right. Can you go out of state for care if needed?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Can you go out of state for care if needed?
I would think so, yes. But if you're being serviced in a particular area right now, you probably would have to get some sort of permission, I would think, to go from one VA facility to another, unless of course they wanted you to do it because there was a better care at the institution or the hospital that you're seeking to go to. But normally you would have to, it's like insurance. You're going to have permission to go outside of the provider. Yeah.
Okay. So how would a wife of a veteran handle talking to the VA if the husband is unable to do so on their own?
She just talks for him. There's forms that they fill out that says, "Hey, my husband is disabled, and I'm his spouse." And what usually you have to show is like a marriage certificate and what have you.
Okay.
And then you speak for him. And of course, if you have a power of attorney, it just makes it that much easier. Am I breaking up?
No. Can you hear us?
I can. It says, can spouse get benefits in the process after death of a veteran? Yes, but again, it depends on the disability that the spouse had, and it's usually at 100%. Usually, not always, but it's at 100%. But even if the veteran didn't have 100% upon his or her demise, if the spouse can establish that it should have been 100%, that's the trick, then the spouse would be entitled to a benefit upon the spouse's demise. But those things they're tricky, okay? And you need help. You need help. I'm dealing with an Agent Orange veteran spouse now. He died before he could even claim it, and he died under VA care. So I'm having a lot of fun putting all that together and to see if the VA can come to her aid in some shape, form, or fashion. I assume it will.
Right, right. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that there are resources like these that can help, in these situations, because as you said, they're such complicated situations, and it would be really easy to feel kind of what you were saying earlier, despondent or frustrated or confused. And so I think this is such a good resource, even now, this webinar, to say, there are so many resources out there for you. And yes, your situation is complicated, life's complicated. Let's help you where we can,
And remember, when you're dealing with the VA, you're dealing with a monolith. And when you put that claim in, it's going to go to an individual who's going to look at it one way and make a decision. It may not be favorable. It may come back to you. Well, you know what? You can file that claim 100 times till you get the answer you want. So keep filing, because the squeaky wheel does get the grease, especially in a system like the VA, because it's a monolith. It's a monolith. You just got to keep at it. Don't become discouraged. Keep working at it. I'll tell a quick war story. I had a buddy. We both went to Vietnam. He came back, didn't care about the service, didn't care about anything like that. He went to Vietnam and served in something called the Provisional Corps in Vietnam. It really didn't exist. It was established only later. He came back. He was quickly sent over in the waning days of 1968 as a relief. He came back. He served 121 days. He came back. He was discharged at Fort Bragg. Looked at his discharge. It said honorable. He was happy. He left. Well, 40 years later, he's banged up. He can't walk. He's struggling with a lot of things, and the VA turned him down because he's not a Vietnam veteran, because his old -2-1 and his DD Form 214, while it acknowledged he had foreign service of 121 days, it didn't acknowledge that it was Vietnam.
Oh my
service.
gosh.
So I took it on, and I found someone out at St. Louis who just kept at it and kept at it. And they found his old 2-1 copy of it that said
Wow.
121 days Vietnam service, wounded in action,
Wow.
and all of that. So I kind of get choked up.
Yeah.
But the very people that ridiculed him and made fun of him at the VA when he came out there and did that are the very ones right now waiting and assisting on him and helping him, because he is that Vietnam veteran.
Good.
Period. So don't give up the ship. Fight hard, guys. You deserved it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. All right. So we have a couple that says that her husband, well, it's the wife, her husband was in the California National Guard from October 1963 to July of 1969. We are going to explore if he is entitled to any benefits. We have his DD 214 only. Do you know?
Guardsmen, this is a very thank you for bringing it up. It's very ticklish. National Guard time, unless you can link it to active duty periods of time, will not usually count for VA or veteran status. Now, if your spouse has got some active duty time, or he was wounded, he was injured on training, that's a whole different ball game. But the National Guard time itself just won't establish his veteran status. It's wrong. I don't agree with it, but that's the black letter law right now. Veterans are usually those that served on active duty and became injured or impaired or wounded or hurt on active duty, on an active duty component. I don't agree with it. I don't like it, but that's the way it is. But don't give up. Push on it. Do it.
Yeah. Why not try? So,
Yeah, sure.
but
You may have suffered an injury at training. If injured, deployed in the U.S. and was injured outside of war, if he is injured because he was serving on active duty, even in a training situation, he would be entitled to benefits established from that injury. That's true.
Okay. And then we'll have our last question and then we'll finish up here. The last question is multiple myeloma common among veterans? And obviously, multiple myeloma is common among veterans. You know, I have no expertise, but I will say that there are veterans that have multiple myeloma, which is obvious because you're here today. Um, in our in our platform, we have around 200 registered veterans that have myeloma, and we have, I think, over 1,000 users. So that just kind of gives a little bit of demographic, at least within our platform, of veterans with multiple myeloma. I don't
Great
know
number.
if
Great
Diana or Roy has anything to add to that.
I would just say a great number of cancers are recognized by the VA. And there's something called the Veterans Benefits Guide, and it's table 3-1. It's over a period of 3 pages. It lists all of those cancers that's recognized by the VA that they consider almost presumptively service connected. So if you're a cancer sufferer, regardless, you touch base with the VA. You touch base.
Great. That's great. All right, Diana, do you have anything to add before we finish up?
I do not, except I didn't know there were so many veterans. It's such a huge part of our community. But that opens up a lot of, I think, more discussions down the road.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too.
Roy,
Well, thank you.
wonderful information. Thank you so much.
Well, I guess again, it was broad brush, but if someone's got a question, my telephone number and email are out there.
Great. Thank you so much.
Okay, take care, you all. Be safe.
Yeah, we're gonna finish up with some announcements, and then we can continue. Oh, I'm clicking the wrong buttons here. Let me try again. All right. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Wonderful. So this is Diana Valentine. This is her contact information. If you would like to contact her, you can email at myfinancialcoach@health3.org, or an even better way to contact her would be go to myelomacoach.org and schedule an appointment with her. You can have more than one coach at a time. So if you want financial advice from Diana and maybe a side effect advice from somebody that's been through the same treatment as you, you can get that on myelomacoach.org. And again, those are free services to you. Our next Myeloma Financial Coach meeting will be on April 6, 2021 at 1 p.m. Eastern. We will be talking about how to work and how to live with a multiple myeloma diagnosis. You might be interested in upcoming events that we have. Tomorrow, March 3rd at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and that's only Mountain Time because it's the Intermountain Support Group event. So that's Nevada, Idaho, Montana, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming. If you are in any of those areas, come to our event tomorrow. We're going to have Dr. Sporov talk about the open multiple myeloma clinical trials at the Huntsman Cancer Institute in Salt Lake City. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, this is for everybody. It's our Fitness for a Myeloma event. We're going to be talking about, we'll have a very special story by Jim Bond. And yes, that is his real name, is Jim Bond. He's going to be talking about how fitness saved his life. And Jim Bond is the recipient of 4 stem cell transplants, which is absolutely crazy. So make sure to tune into that. On Tuesday, March 9th at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, and again, this is Pacific time because it's a regional-based chapter, we're going to be having our SoCal Myeloma Sport group kickoff. So if you're in SoCal area, if you're in Las Vegas area even, we're inviting them. So feel free to come to this kickoff. And then on Thursday, March 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern, the Myeloma Caregivers event. This is going to be conflict management for the cancer caregiver. The link is at the bottom of the slide, and we will be sending out these slides as well as a recording of this event 24 to 48 hours after we have concluded. So we will be sending this link and the slides as well. Again, a special thanks to our community event sponsors, Bristol Myers Squibb, Amgen Oncology, Karyopharm Therapeutics, AbbVie, Adaptive Biotechnologies, Genentech, Oncopeptides, and Takeda Oncology. And thank you for spending this time with us. We are super grateful that you've helped us build this myeloma community. Again, thank you, Roy. Thank you, Diana. This has been an amazing time.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
very much and have a great rest of your day.